Today on the Chat and Chew Show,
Stuff happens. I almost said the word.
I heard you said stuff.
Stuff happens.
I heard that strong cheese.
You heard it. It happens to all of us.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making a grilled egg and cheese sandwich.
We're here.
Here we are.
Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Chat and Chew Show. We are so excited that you guys joined us today. Oh my gosh, hopefully you are having a fantastic day, no matter what platform you're listening to us on. Sorry. Roxanne. This show was designed to empower you to do relationships better. And we say this every episode, but everybody is in a relationship. And we're not just talking about romantic relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, husband and wife. We're talking about you are an auntie, an uncle, you are a granddad, you're a grandmother, you're a coworker, you're an employee. So all of us have relationships in our lives. And so this show is designed to empower you to do your relationships better, because we can all be better at relationships.
We can.
Yeah, cool. So this show is going to be so fun and exciting, because soon we're going to, you guys will see later, we have a special guest that I am so excited to talk to her about. Whoop, whoop.
Sorry.
But you know what? Roxanne is always a cheerleader. I'm going to get you some pom-poms.
I know. Now I had to think about colors. Okay.
So I don't know where you are in your life right now, but this is one thing that I know to be true. You're either going into a tough season, you're in a tough season, or you just came out of a tough season. Like, stuff happens. I almost said the word.
I heard you said stuff.
Stuff happens.
I heard that strong T.
You heard it. It happens to all of us.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like, all kind of things can happen to us. But being able to navigate through those tough times, it says something about who you are and your character and all that.
It does.
I mean, it's huge.
If you can make it through
and not
quit.
You can do something. You can do something, So if you're listening today and you're going through a tough situation, you want to hang on, because this is going to be the show that's really going to help you. So join us, hit us back. I mean, stay with us.
Or hit us back.
Or hit us back. I don't know.
If we text you, hit us back, please.
Please do that. Or is we going to be going through something. All right, we'll see you after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. And we are back with Chat and Chew, and we're talking now about just like going through some difficult things and actually pressing through and making it through. And I can remember a time, Betty, when I was broke. Like broke. Okay, not homeless broke though.
Oh, okay.
But like
okay.
broke,
Okay.
Like it was like really bad. So I would be asleep and I would wake up to check the alarm clocks just to make sure I knew that our power hadn't gone out.
Oh, wow.
And not like gone out like
it
was a power outage, but like they cut it off because we didn't
right,
pay.
they didn't pay. Oh gosh, I
Like,
have been there. That is so.
Yeah,
So,
I was like,
so you felt like you were going through.
yeah, I felt like I was going through. And it's funny because like then I had to learn how to like shuffle my bills.
Oh yeah.
Because it's like it's a yellow or blue bill.
Yeah.
When you're just late, and then it's a red bill.
Okay.
When they're about to cut it off.
So you know the colors.
Right. So I had to learn the colors.
Oh my.
And then I had to like figure out how to, call them and figure out, okay, how do I shuffle this and, make this money work.
Yeah.
I'm going to pay y'all a month behind, that kind of thing.
Oh yeah. Oh, I know. Rob Peter to pay Paul. I definitely know.
Yeah.
But how did that make you feel though? Like, I can't imagine your sleep is interrupted because you were waking up in the morning. So something must have been in your head to be like, oh my gosh, I'm about to live my life in the dark. What was happening?
It was because it was just so broke, and I just didn't feel like any support whatsoever. Like there was and honestly too, it was one of those things where I had isolated myself too.
Okay.
Because I was married at the time, and I was just like, I don't know, something pride or something. Just
Okay,
didn't
okay.
let me go back to my
Yeah.
parents and be like, I just need some help, you know.
Wow. Oh yeah.
And
yeah.
so it was just trying to manage everything.
Okay.
I was stressed. And so I would constantly have this dream of just not like having one short leg, like not being able
Okay.
to really like be stable.
Yeah.
And so I would wake up just like checking to see, okay, is everything on, the lights on, and stuff like that.
That is so stressful.
Yeah.
Wow, especially being waking up out of your sleep. Sleep is precious.
Right.
Right?
It is.
You know, but I can see that you've made it through.
I have.
And a lot of times people don't make it through.
They don't. Yeah, because I mean, and I can understand, like, there's stress, so you feel like you want to crumble.
Yeah.
And just fold in.
Yeah.
And like whatever's going on, just let it take over
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
You know, and then sometimes you just feel like, well, this is how the universe is like showing up for me. This is just what it's gonna be. You know,
Wow,
it's like you
wow.
feel like, oh, I just go with it because it's meant to be.
Oh my. Okay.
That I'm
yeah.
overtaken by whatever this thing
Yeah,
is.
yeah. It's easy when you are when you've gone through something to be able to look back and say, oh yeah, this and that. But when you're in the middle of it, I mean, it's really, really tough. A lot of times we were laughing before we started taping. It's like, you know, some people, they go through and then they want to go smoke crack because
Crack is whack.
crack is whack. That's why. And I knocked the phone over.
It was the crack reference.
It was the crack. I should have never said it. Because somebody may be listening like, I'm on crack right now. I'm trying to get on.
That crack reference.
That crack reference, right? Okay. So a lot of times people, they just want to give up. They don't, when they're in the middle of situations like that. But you just decided, what?
Well, actually, it's funny. Once I I just decided we can't go out like that.
Okay.
You know, we just not gonna do it. Not today. But then it was also too just like, it was like once I just took things step by step of, you know, like I found out that I was stronger. Like, you know,
It's good.
I fought for more things.
It's good.
When more was at stake.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I found out like I was a little stronger.
Yeah.
Because it matters now. You know, you won't like, you know, get me over for my $2 extra.
Okay.
You cheated me. You owe me $2.
Right,
you know,
right.
all that matters.
Oh my gosh.
You
that
know,
is
so
crazy.
you find out you're stronger. But
yeah. So this show, again, like we said earlier, we got a special guest with us.
Yeah.
And she's, I would say, I don't know, expert in navigating through tough times.
Yeah, I would say.
Yeah.
So we're gonna welcome Ruth to the show. And
Hey,
Ruth,
Ruth.
thanks
Hi,
for
Ruth.
joining us. Can you tell us a little bit about just your situation and what you're dealing with and all that?
Sure. So I guess I was in what you would call a toxic relationship. So I was with someone who basically, have you guys heard the term gaslighting?
Yes.
I
You
haven't.
know, like the gaslighting?
I have never heard of that.
Kind of like where you're made to feel like you're the crazy one or you're the one.
Okay.
There's something wrong with you.
I see.
But in reality, it's the person that's making you feel like this. So I was in a situation where it was like, I was never good enough. You know, there was always something wrong with me. I was being, you know, just lied to, you know, jealousy, also controlling.
Okay.
Sort of, you know, these things where you end up being with someone and after, you know, after a while you feel like it's normal.
Okay.
And you kind of get used to it, I guess.
So how long were you in this?
Almost 20 years.
How many
You said 20?
Almost 20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
It's tough. Wow.
Almost 2 decades. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Wow. Good.
So, do you have children, or do you have? Are you working outside the home?
I have an 18-year-old daughter, and she just started college this year.
What? Ruth,
Yeah.
you look like you're 18.
Right.
And I'm so proud of her, and she's doing a physical therapy program at
Nice.
Widener University in Philadelphia.
Nice.
And then I have a 10-year-old daughter who is a grade and
Okay.
going into middle school soon.
Oh, wow, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're out of the toxic relationship, correct? But
Correct.
still going through some of the logistics of it.
Correct. Yeah, so the last 2 years, I've been, just working on healing from this relationship, and also just going through the divorce process, which unfortunately hasn't been completed yet, but will be very soon. So, the last 2 years I've just focused on myself, and I haven't really dated or tried to get into a relationship because I knew there was so much that I needed to do for myself to make myself feel whole again and to, figure out who I was again, because I pretty much lost myself through that relationship.
Yeah.
So we're talking like 20 years, like basically 2 decades to 2 years. Like what would you say you were able to hold on to really like feel like you had hope to get through that 20 years into these 2 years of healing?
God. I mean, just having my faith in God and knowing that He was going to supply all of my needs no matter what, and just really holding on to the promises in the Bible. Like, I've lost a lot. I've lost a lot of time. I've lost a lot of myself. I've lost a lot financially. But in reading the Word, it's just like God's going to restore everything I've lost. And I believe that because of so many stories that are in the Bible. So I hold on to that. And, when it's tough, I get into the Word and really just re-energize myself and keep the hope alive for my life.
Wow, that's huge.
That is huge.
So do you? I don't know. That just felt warm to hear.
Yeah.
Would you say there were like signs that you saw along the way that just were like, okay, it's gonna be okay? Just because I feel like with your faith, there's constant renewing that has to happen. And I know you're saying you're staying in the Word and remember those stories. Were there signs also that you were like, okay, I'm all right. I'm gonna be all right?
Yeah. Well, I guess throughout the last 2 years too, I was exposed to this topic of personal resilience. And I learned about it in a leadership program that I was in.
I'm about to write that down. Personal resilience.
It's really just the idea of how do you bounce back, right, from a negative situation or a setback, and how do you emerge to be even a stronger version of yourself.
Hold on.
Wait a minute. We got to give people time to process. So in the middle of what you were going through, you got a hold of this concept of personal resilience and then this whole bounce back. I love that. Oh my gosh.
It really resonated with me because of this whole personal situation. I had dealt with some stuff at work too, so kind of both of those things combined, I was like, man, this is really resonating with me because I need to overcome a lot of things here. So I learned about this topic and I became really interested in learning more. So I decided to, read up on it, go to conferences, listen to podcasts, and I really just ended up meeting someone who developed a model for personal resilience at the State Department. And the way that she taught it to me was so interesting and so easy to grasp. And what I did was I was able to, through an opportunity I had at work, I was selected to be in an adjunct faculty program.
Nice.
And we were able to choose a topic that was interesting to us and develop a training program or a training course. And so I chose personal resilience.
Nice.
I like that. Oh my gosh. That is huge. Oh man. That is so good.
Okay, because I'm sorry, it's such a good story. I'm sorry. So I'm gonna go back because I'm just like, okay, so for a person who's like in a tough situation, right? Where is like, I guess that point where you make the decision, I'm gonna push through this versus I'm gonna let it take me over. Like, do you remember there being a point where you decided that? Because to go after, follow podcasts, to just follow this topic and all that, it's just that inner strength you have. But was there a decision point?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's been a journey, definitely going through the process. Part of it too was I started to do these Bible studies at my church, and being in fellowship with other women who were, kind of having the same values, morals, beliefs that I had, but were also there to kind of strengthen me along the way. And that's actually part of personal resilience, is having that social support and people who are in your corner to really help you. There's like different types of people who you have in your life that can really help you overcome, something difficult. And one of those, they're like in categories, and I read about this. So one group is kind of like, those people who really love you, but they also will tell you the truth.
Okay.
That's a good group.
That's good.
That's good. We need that for sure.
And then we have, the group of friends who just, they really get you, right? You're going the same direction, you have the same values, they have that chemistry, and not necessarily the romantic chemistry, but you just click with those people.
Yeah.
And then you have the kind of level up people. So you have those people that you admire, the people that you look up to. And a lot of times for me, those are mentors or people that I really look up to and admire the way that they live their life. And I have some of those people in my life too. So I think just kind of having those types of people in your corner really kind of helped me, and I was able to kind of meet people along the way too, and in this whole journey also. Also, I would say I ended up coming across JJ Smith. I don't know if you guys know her from the.
I'm writing down everything.
Okay. So JJ Smith, she developed the 10-day green smoothie cleanse.
Oh.
And so as part of like my whole journey too, I had struggled with weight, and just like, when you get lost in a toxic relationship, you kind of let yourself go and, all these different things. And so I wanted to like focus on myself holistically too. So I wanted to get my health back in order. So I came across this book by JJ Smith, The 10-Day Green Smoothie Cleanse. And it's really just to kind of like detox your body from all the toxins that you take in, and just, focus on cleaning your system out and then kind of jump starting your journey on weight loss. So I did that book, and I ended up meeting her through a private Facebook group that she has on Facebook. So I would post like my journey on doing the cleanse and all this stuff. And she ended up reaching out to me to speak at her panel at conference.
Oh my goodness.
A couple of years ago. And so she's a New York Times bestselling author. She actually just wrote another book that came out this week. And so she actually ended up inviting me to the conference. I was on that panel, and then she invited me back to her home last year when she wrote another book called Think Yourself Thin.
Oh, wow.
It's about like visualizing, it's about like visualizing, your goals, and so she invited me back for that, for a fireside chat with myself and another group of women who kind of follow her teachings and things like that. So it was great.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can't help but think that, when you were going through your really tough time, especially these past 2 years, because you got this idea of, I'm just going to plow through. Look at what you would have missed if you hadn't.
Right.
If you had just been like, oh, well, I'm just going to, whatever, go smoke. Don't say it. Don't
say a whole thing going like fall over.
Right. Yeah. And so for people who are listening, oh my God.
Right.
Wow. I mean, that is huge that
It is.
You're in a tough situation, but you don't have to stay there, and it may take a little bit of time for you to move on to the next one, but, to get out of it, but you can get out of it. Oh my gosh, that is
forward.
huge. And
like
spring
not
forward.
Just survive, but like spring forward.
Yeah, and be
into
better on the other side of it. Cool.
So you want to take a break and then come back and talk about what are those tips that we can walk away with on how to be resilient.
Oh, this is good.
Right?
Oh my gosh.
Can you wait?
I can't.
I don't know if I can wait.
All right, guys.
Man, Ruth, that is good. Oh my gosh.
We'll be right back, guys.
Oh yeah, sorry. You can drink water. Yes. No, we're saying.
I thought we were on a break.
We're on the short break. Cool. All right. I done messed it all up, but anyway. Good, cool.
Hey everybody, it's your girl Roxanne, and today we're making a grilled egg and cheese sandwich. Now this is my favorite because I love eggs, and then I also love cheesy, buttery things, and so this just works out well for me. It's not the healthiest sandwich, but it's really good, so hope you give it a try. So we're going to get started by pulling out our ingredients, and we're going to start with 2 slices of bread of your choice, 2 eggs, 2 slices of cheese, and then also some butter, of course. And so what we're going to do is take out our pan and get that nice and hot. I'm using a nonstick pan. If you don't use a nonstick pan, you can use a regular one, and just make sure it's nice and hot before you get started to avoid sticking. And so once you have some butter at the bottom of your pan, some butter melted, then you can go ahead and add your slices of bread. And so we're going to just brown the bread on one side and sop up that butter, of course. And once that bread is brown, we're going to take it out and put it onto a plate, and then we're going to put our slices of cheese on top of the brown side of that bread. And just some of that heat will start the melting process for the cheese, and so that's why I do that. And then once we have the bread browned on one side and set aside with the cheese, we're going to cook our eggs. And to do that, we're just going to spray some olive oil on the bottom of the pan that you've been using, while it's still hot. And then sprinkle some salt at the bottom of that pan. This is the only salt I'm going to use on this sandwich because we have salt in the butter, we have salt in the cheese, and then, we don't want to just have too much salt going on with this sandwich. So I'm just going to sprinkle just a tad on the bottom of the pan before I add my eggs. And so I'm going to throw in my 2 eggs, and I'm just going to crack them and put them in there. And I'm going to break the yolk while it's in the pan and just kind of cook it as is. I don't do any fancy scrambling or anything. And I'm also going to add some pepper to my eggs just for a little extra flavor. And once my eggs are cooked all the way through, and I cook them kind of soft just because I like a little softer texture with the cheese and everything, then I'm going to take that egg out and I'm going to put it on top of one of those bread slices with the cheese and everything on top already. And then I'm going to go ahead and complete my sandwich by folding that other piece of bread and cheese on top of the egg. So now I have a egg and cheese sandwich, but it's just, it needs some browning on the outside of it, right? So I'm going to add a little bit more butter to my pan while it's still hot, and I'm going to throw my whole sandwich back into the pan so I can brown the outside of the sandwich. And so while I'm browning the outside of the sandwich, I'm also doing that to melt the cheese that's in it as well, because the cheese has started melting from the heat of the egg and all that, but we want to go ahead and finish that process off with this final kind of browning session, if you will. So we're going to flip our sandwich over after just a minute or so of cooking on each side, because now our pan is much, it's a little hotter than when we first started, because we've been cooking for a while, and so it won't take as long for those edges, the edges of the sandwich to brown. So you want to watch that. And also by the time your edge is brown, also your cheese will be melted also. So once you see that browning, then go ahead and just take it out. You can plate it and cut it in half and enjoy. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. And until next time.
All right. Well, welcome back, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us. Wasn't that delicious? That Roxanne sure can cook.
Yes, she can.
And as you guys know, if you've been hanging with us today, we are talking to a very special lady. Mm-hmm. Her name is Ruth, and she is giving us some tips here in a few moments on how to navigate through your storm or tough situation that you may be going through.
So Ruth, I
know.
I'm sorry.
We had to take notes.
We did, because Ruth has had such a good story of just like going through some negative situations, getting out of a toxic relationship, and then like not only surviving it but springing forward. So and we like the way you put it, some personal resilience here is what we're talking about now. And so what are like some tips that people can walk away with on just how to be resilient and what they should do?
So the first thing I would say is self-care. So number one is, I think, self-care. So, are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Are you eating healthy? Kind of those things, but then also things that help you recharge and re-energize. And for me, that would be maybe quarterly getting a massage, or going on a trip with great friends, or just taking some time for myself, reading a book. Sometimes I've had a really tough day, and sometimes I just need to hear uplifting music on the way home from work. Whatever that means for you to kind of take care of yourself. I think the number one is self-care.
Wow, like it.
Good. Yeah.
Number two is problem solving. So a lot of times when we're in tough situations, we are kind of caught up in a problem where we need to figure out how to solve something, how to overcome something. So in terms of problem solving, I would say sometimes asking for help. You may be kind of all stuck in your head with this problem, but you may not have kind of turned to maybe a family or a trusted friend to ask for help or guidance. Also kind of thinking about maybe a problem you encountered maybe a year ago and you overcame it, maybe going back and thinking, wow, that worked at that time, maybe it could work this time. So just kind of thinking of different ways to problem solve when you're in a difficult situation, I would say, is number two. Number three is maintaining a positive outlook.
Okay.
And what I mean by that is having, a positive mindset. A lot of times when we're in a difficult season or a difficult situation, it's easy to get our mind kind of in that situation where everything's negative, there's no hope, things like that. But I think if you have a positive mindset, that really helps. And what I do for that is I do mindfulness. So mindfulness is kind of like some guided meditation that I do every day. And a lot of what I do in mindfulness kind of takes me back into the present moment and focuses on like gratitude and things like that. I also have a vision board in my room that I look at every morning, and I do one every year to kind of remind me of those positive things I want to think about as it relates to my life. And then the fourth thing is having meaning and purpose. So for some of us, we may have a certain hobby or a certain interest, something that we're really good at. I saw a quote that said the meaning of life it's something about like how we give our gift away. And so I think for me, I like to be very like thoughtful with gifts, and I create like gifts with like scriptures and different things that I give to people to give them hope. And so I think finding something that you're passionate about, something that you can give back to others to help them make them feel better. I would say meaning and purpose. And then number 5 is social support. So having those people in your corner that are there, your family, your loved ones, those inner circle of friends that can really you can go to them when you're really struggling through something. And I think those would be the great tips when it comes to personal resilience.
That is excellent.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, what takeaways, man. That is huge. That is huge.
Yeah, I feel like a mini seminar. Like
I know we've been in
I know, I did it in
workshop.
like 5 minutes. I did my training session for 1 hour, but then I'm doing a 3-hour one too.
Oh my.
Okay, cool. Man, Ruth, this was so good. And so we're going to put those 5 things in the show notes, and so that people can go and maybe write it down and look for it, and have it on their person. So this was excellent.
I know.
This is good.
Thank
oh
you
my
so
gosh.
much.
Yes.
Wow.
So tell our listeners where they can find you.
Do you do any of the socials?
On Instagram, I'm Colombiana513.
Okay.
I'm going to eventually have, something more, but not yet. But I can share that at a later time.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So they can find you there. So good.
So good. All right. Any final thoughts you want to tell people who are going through tough times?
Yeah, I would say, just be gentle with yourself. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. And sometimes we kind of have to, I wanted to show you guys this. Can you see it?
Oh yeah. Inhale courage, exhale fear.
Nice.
Yeah, we got this when we went to New Orleans. And I try to remember that every day because a lot of times we get stuck in fear and we can't like get past it. But if we recognize that fear is just kind of like the enemy trying to trap our minds too, we can discover that the promises of God also, which are, you know, he doesn't give us a spirit of fear. He gives us a spirit of power, love, and self-discipline. And so I would say, you know, remembering that and being gentle with yourself, and, you know, just being okay with that and loving yourself. I think I would leave you with that.
Oh, wow. That is
good.
so good.
Well, thank you so much for being our super special guest
Thank
today.
you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging with us. And Roxy will tell you where you can find us and follow us and all that good stuff.
We're at Chat and Chew Show on Instagram and on Facebook. And also follow us on YouTube. Look up the Chat and Chew Show and subscribe.
Yeah. And we'll see you next time. So thanks for joining. Good.
This show was brought to you by the Chat and Chew Company. Music by Elwood Jones. Lyrics by Roxanne. Bring a Chat and Chew live event to your organization. Contact us at chatandchewshow@gmail.com.